There is so much horrible social media advice out there being shared by gurus that have never even grown a page or a business. And most people are trying to take this advice and put it to use and getting no results, which leaves a massive opportunity for you if you know what actually is important. I have a degree in marketing and I've run a social media agency since I was in college, helping a bunch of businesses blow up on social media. And I've grown personal accounts to hundreds of thousands of followers and tens of millions of views. That's my YouTube plaque right there for some proof. And I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know, the things that make the biggest difference when it comes to growing on social media as a business. We're going to avoid the useless fluff that most social media gurus are sharing and instead give you the key things that actually do drive growth and really matter. So if you're serious about your business and growing your business using social media, prove it by sticking around for this entire video. You'll be happy you did, and I can guarantee you it'll help you grow faster. There are 4 categories that all successful businesses on social media get right. And if you get this stuff figured out from the beginning, you're going to be way more likely to be successful and achieve success far faster. But if you fail to get this stuff right, or you just skip past it, it's like trying to build your dream home on a horrible foundation that could give out at any moment. It really is that important. So don't skip over any of this. The brands that do, they don't get the results that they want. The first section is obsessing over your customer or viewer. And I use those terms interchangeably because you run a business. Obsessing over your customer and knowing them in vivid detail gives you such an advantage to attract them like a magnet. Because when you can get into their brain, creating content becomes way easier, coming up with ideas becomes way easier, and speaking their language to capture them right away becomes a breeze. But it takes time, effort, and thought to actually build this out and gain this understanding, which 99% of businesses skip past this and they wonder why they can't attract the right people. They don't even know who these people are, and they don't know all the things that go into making that person who they are. But you're going to figure this out to give you a cheat code to attracting them. And the best way to do this is by building out what I call a viewer or a customer avatar. And this is a hypothetical person where you go in detail and explain exactly who this person is, what they care about, where they hang out online, what platforms are they using, who else are they following, where do they shop, what do they care about, what are their biggest fears, what are their dreams. You want to know this person inside and out. And if you want more step-by-step help on how to build out an avatar, we've put some helpful resources in the description box of this video. But you're going to obsess over understanding exactly who this person is, how they think, and what they're thinking about. And as you go through and build out your avatar, and I recommend starting with 1, especially if you're new to this, but as you get better at this and as you get it right, you can expand to 2 or 3 if you do have different target customers depending on what you're selling. But you're going to start with 1 because you're new. And as you go through and build this out, it should become pretty obvious what platform you should prioritize. And you're going to pick this platform to be your target platform that you're going to focus on. Because the advice of trying to be everywhere all at once is horrible advice. So many people are using basic AI tools to put out basic content and as much of it as possible. So everything blurs together. So the specialists, the people that take the sniper approach to make better content specific to the platform and the nuances that go along with that, they're going to crush everyone else who's trying to be everywhere all at once. It just doesn't work like that anymore. There's too much competition in terms of volume of content that you can really stand out by being an expert. So ironically, you will grow a bigger audience by obsessing over one platform and owning it than you would scattered across a bunch of platforms, putting out mediocre content that isn't customized for that platform. Make accounts for every platform to secure your username, but you're going to pick one platform that is your focus that you're going to take a sniper approach for and truly own. And when it comes to businesses, 9 times out of 10, I recommend either Instagram or TikTok to be your primary platform. And personally, my favorite is Instagram. I just feel like they give you way more tools to successfully run a business and grow your business to make more money. But based on the avatar that you've already built out and that you've named and that you've owned and really understand, use that information to make the right choice for you. Your primary platform could be Pinterest. It could be YouTube. It could be LinkedIn. Totally depends on who you're trying to reach and what you are selling. But take the sniper approach, you will win way faster. So now that we've done that, the second step is to actually outline exactly what we're trying to achieve. What are we optimizing towards through our efforts on social media? This sounds obvious, I know, but so many businesses have no idea what they're actually trying to achieve, and they wonder why they don't get there. They don't even have a destination in mind, and then they're angry that they don't show up at this fake destination. You're setting yourself up to fail when you don't outline exactly what you're optimizing towards. And setting the goal of going viral or getting views is horrible. So many brands make this mistake, and it's why they never find success in the first place. If you take that approach, I can guarantee failure. But since you are a rare breed, what you're going to do is set SMART goals. And SMART is an acronym that stands for the following: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. We're going to use this framework to set up goals that actually help you get to where you want to go on Instagram or TikTok, whatever your target platform is. This will help shape future decisions, make you get a way higher return on all your effort, and take you where you want to go by figuring out what that is and building a plan to work backwards from that desired destination. So I'm going to work through SMART goals as if I am a local bakery. That's the business I'm going to be, so adjust this based on exactly who you are. So for S, in terms of specific, a horrible business would think like, I want to get views or I want to go viral. That would be their goal. But a business that's going to be successful would have a way more specific goal that would look something like this. I am on social media creating content to increase awareness for my business, grow an online community of people interested in my products or services, and get people in my physical location to try my baked goods. Do you see the difference between this specific goal versus going viral and getting views? These gives me specific goals I'm going towards so I can make decisions and set actions that actually take me there. And it's really important to think like this because as a business owner, at the end of the day, if you're not making money, you won't stay in business. Doesn't matter how many views that you have, you ultimately need to have customers that are loyal and that want to buy your stuff. And so by setting out this specific goal, I can now work backwards and get there. And because I have these specific goals, I can now get creative with solutions for each of them because I've outlined the specific problem. For this example, there's 3 problems. I want to increase awareness. So to do that, I want to create content specific to what my customers would want, which amazing. We already outlined this with our viewer avatar. So we want to create for that person. What kind of content they want, need, what would they share with their friends? What would they save for later? That solves that problem. The next problem is to build a community. So because I've outlined that goal, I can now get creative with figuring out what tools on the platform of choice give me the ability to really deepen connection and build that community. If it's Instagram, it could be going live, it could be your close friends, etc. But because we have that goal in mind, we can work backwards from it. And then lastly, of getting people in the store, because I outlined that specific goal, that's the problem. A potential solution could be something like offering exclusive discounts for people that come to your content, that find your page, and then come into the store and show you that they're following, and then give you that code for some dramatic first-time discount. So just by outlining the goals at the beginning, I've now set 3 creative potential solutions to those problems only because they were clearly outlined in the S section of SMART goals. Okay, so the next section of SMART is M for measurable. So here's where you're going to set specific output goals because you have no control over how many views that you get, but you have complete control over how many things you're putting out there. So depending on the platform of choice, it's going to look like this. I'm going to achieve my specific goals by posting X times per month with 40% of posts aimed towards awareness, 30% to build community, and 30% promotional or sales-driven content. These numbers will completely fluctuate based on who you are and what you're trying to sell, but be specific in terms of exactly what you're going to be putting out there and get very specific. So if it's Instagram, think about how many stories you're going to be putting out, how many reels, how many static posts, etc. But working backwards to your specific goals. Because you can see I thought about the specific goals and then content that helps me achieve all of those. You need to do the same. The next section is A for achievable. And what achievable looks like is completely dependent on you, but this step is very critical and where many people fail. When people are new and they're excited, they set goals that are so unrealistically high that they naturally don't hit them. They get discouraged and they completely stop. So instead, what you're going to do as someone who's going to find success is you're going to set an output goal that is slightly scary, but wildly achievable when being honest with yourself. That's how you're going to set achievable goals for yourself. And this is crucial because by building the habit and the skill, you're going to reach a place where this level of output is just so low based on what you could be doing. You're going to figure this out for yourself. But by setting that goal in an achievable level, you actually get to that place rather than getting discouraged and falling off. R is relevant, and luckily this step is very easy based on what we've already outlined. We know our key objectives and things we're optimizing towards, so we know the role that each action has in terms of getting us to that destination or those destinations. Because if you had to set the goal of going viral or getting a ton of views, you might even achieve that, but it wouldn't get you closer to where you have to go and the true reasons why you're on social in the first place. And then T stands for time bound. And so what you want to do here is now that we have a plan, let's set a specific time frame for how long we're going to put this plan into action to then go back and assess what worked, see what didn't, and then make changes for the next batch of time to bring us even more results. So those are SMART goals. You're going to work through this specific to you. And for some accountability, share your SMART goals in the comment section down below. You got to work this out anyways. Why not share them to keep yourself yourself accountable. And I'll be watching your content if you share your handle as well. The third section you have to nail is the most difficult, but also the most fun. And that is the fact that connection and creativity are the most important elements for social media, especially for businesses. People are craving both of those things more than ever. And so accounts that provide this to their target audience, they win so much more than anyone else who's failing to hit these things. The ability to create more content is becoming easier by the day. So many people are spamming out 10 pieces of content a day that looks, feels, and sounds the exact same as everyone else they're competing against. So by being 10% unique or putting in 10% additional effort, you stand out 100-fold because there's just so much noise out there of the same boring garbage that people think they should be doing because they've heard the advice of be everywhere all at once at any cost, which is god-awful advice, by the way. I really want to underline that. That's horrible advice. That's a great way to never get traction on your content. Effort gets rewarded on social. And that doesn't even mean it needs to be high production value like something like this. Effort can be felt in terms of the idea, the delivery. There are so many different ways where you can show effort. And if you consistently put effort into your actions and your content, you're going to stand out like crazy. And you will be the page that all your competitors look at and try to emulate later, but they won't be able to because you did it first. So this is undeniably hard, but achievable. And when you do achieve it, it brings crazy results. And so I'm going to provide you some examples of each of these things to help get your creative juices flowing. When it comes to creating organic content, the biggest lesson I can teach you is to create for your desired audience, not for the product you're selling. And that may sound counterintuitive, but let me give you an example to show you exactly what I mean. There is this brand that sells bikinis on TikTok called Strawberry Milk Mop, and she learned this lesson the hard way. She originally started making content all about the product. She'd make generic videos and photos all about her bikinis, and no one cared. No one watched the videos, no one shared the videos, no one bought the bikinis, because this approach is what the vast majority of businesses do on social media, and they wonder why they don't get results. That's basically the modern day equivalent of sending spam mail to people that gets thrown out right away. You are competing against entertainment. And so if you don't create content that your audience actually wants, you can't expect to receive their attention in return. You gotta ditch the ego and create for the desired audience. Strawberry Milk Mop did exactly that. She worked out an avatar of exactly who her audience is, probably 2 or 3 avatars, and then figured out exactly what kind of content this person would actually sign up to watch. What would they connect with? And it's all based on the elements that went into your avatar, the things they care about, their fears, their dreams. All that stuff made it super easy for her instead to create for an individual that turned her page into a magnet for her target customers. And it sold way more bikinis than her other approach did that will just never work. That boring, push the product approach, it just won't work. But through doing that and creating content that people actually wanted, they got to know, like, and trust her. And then she was able to talk about her product and work it in creatively, which drove a ton of sales.
Make my boyfriend breakfast together. I eat the same thing for breakfast every single morning. And by the way, this is the double dipped bikini. It is restocked and the link is in the bio. It's the best.
She is a fantastic case study on how to do organic social content the right way as a business. And she took it to even another level by building characters within her world where her sisters who are involved in the business each have their own account. Truly a masterclass on organic social for brands. So definitely go study her content. So that's how you approach organic content. But even for your promotional or paid ad, you want to do everything within your power to make it as engaging and entertaining as possible. If you fail to do this, you're going to make way less money. So remember that principle, effort gets rewarded. The same is true here. And remember what you're competing against. You can't throw a spam ad and expect people to read it. But if you get creative with an ad, you can have a promotional piece of content that still goes viral, gets a ton of shares, and brings you a ton of customers. And so since we were talking about the example of a bakery, I'll give you 2 examples of food-based businesses that did this exceptionally well, and they were ads. But nobody was mad that they were ads because they were so engaging and entertaining. They weren't mad at the end. In fact, they laughed or shared it with somebody else because of how good the ad was. And you can achieve the same thing for yourself, even without a huge budget.
As you can see, people are lining up for our new double-decker pizza. Your favorite classics are now decked out to the max with cheese on top and gooey, stretchy, melting cheese below. Grab yours today at your local Pizza Hut, because the Hut's got you covered.
You could achieve something similar for your business using a phone, but the principles were something that was incredibly interesting and engaging that people would want to watch anyways because they're so curious, and then end it with an ad that kind of almost is the comedic relief from what they set up with the hook, the first few seconds of the video. And that was all achieved with a good idea and a phone. You can do the same if you experiment enough and put enough thought into this. And the next example is one that would take a higher budget for sure, but the impact was huge. This got shared like crazy and went mega viral. It was done by a local restaurant in London.
Best handmade dumpling in London. Fingal Cottage, 37 Stratton Ground.
So the same principles were applied from the Pizza Hut example. Highly engaging, opens a loop within people's mind, gets them highly curious, hooks them in, and then the payoff is actually the promotion. So engaging, no one's mad that's an ad. It actually amplifies the effectiveness of all of it. And so if you can think like this, even with your promotional content or your ad creative, you're gonna get way more results. TikTok has this one piece of advice that is gold. They give the advice of when making TikTok ads, don't make ads, make TikToks. So you should think the same way with your content. Even when you're making promotional content or ads, make that as engaging as possible for your target audience. You will be rewarded, just like these brands were. And to help you even further with getting creative with your content, I want you to make your life easy by thinking in terms of content series. So think about repeatable topics or formats that you can do over and again easily that makes sense for your brand and who you're trying to reach. This makes your job so much easier because once one of the videos in that series takes off, people will then come over to your page and watch all the other ones in that series. It does wonders for building brand and connection because you're going to have the same characters and people in those series. And it also helps you achieve something that is so hard to do, which is to get someone from a viewer of your content to actually follow your content. But if you have clear series that people want more of, it makes it an obvious choice to sign up and follow you to see more of that content. Whereas if you're just chasing random ideas all over the place, one may take off eventually, but it was way more effort for you. It's not going to lead to as many follows, and it's really hard to repeat or build off. Whereas if you had a thought of series from the beginning, you're just setting yourself up for way more success. And so experiment with multiple different kinds of series. There are so many examples all over TikTok of repeatable formats that you could use over and again. So come up with ideas for series, try them more than you think you should, and then double down on the ones that actually take off. And you just made your life so much easier and your results way higher. And to prove that anyone can do this, I'll give you an example of a local coffee shop that does this brilliantly and has used this format to make a bunch of content and to grow a massive audience.
A certified brat walks in. What are you gonna make her?
I'm gonna make her a blueberry matcha lemonade.
Let's try it. We have a bratty little blueberry matcha lemonade. Let's give it a try. That's really bratty. Brat for president.
The coffee shop's called the Nitro Bar. So because they understood who they're trying to reach, they know the things that would build emotion, things that are controversial, all the elements that go into making their target customers, and they created series that make speaking to these people and getting them invested really easy. So thinking like that from the beginning will help you get to your signature series or series way faster. And to put a bow on the creativity section, because this is definitely the longest section, because this is the true differentiator between brands that crush it and brands that never get any traction. And it's to be creative, not just in terms of content, but in terms of how you're going to achieve your desired results. And so we outlined ours as awareness, to build a community, and to get people in our shop. We just talked a lot about how we're going to get awareness through great content targeted to specific people, incorporating what we've learned. But in terms of community and getting people into our store, we also want to get creative in terms of how we're solving those problems that we've touched upon a little bit earlier with the examples of that discount code for new followers and that VIP close friends group with exclusive opportunities and discounts that people can earn through being a great follower and customer of your brand. These little bits of effort, this little bit of being creative in terms of our path towards a solution, they make a world of a difference because almost everyone falls into nothingness. They all are doing the exact same thing. There's no personality, there's no creativity, so naturally people don't follow it. Whereas if you're the only shop in your area or the only business in your industry doing these things, you become a no-brainer for anyone who needs this stuff to buy through you. So remember, connection and creativity and effort always gets rewarded. The fourth crucial section that you need to get right is consistency. And the real reason for this is because where social media is today, if you consistently do the things that we've outlined here and you're doing the right things, as long as you keep doing them and keep getting better through doing them, success becomes inevitable. It's no longer a matter of if, it's a matter of when, as long as you keep doing it. So creating a system where you can actually be consistent is so important. Without that, none of the stuff that we've done to this point will even really matter because you have to do enough to learn the skill, build the habit, and get good. And that only comes through reps. So you have to actually be consistent at this. And we're talking in terms of months and years, not days and weeks. Too many businesses are in that days and weeks category and they don't get the results that they want fast enough, so they quit. With everything we've already talked about, you're going to cut this time down as much as possible, especially compared to your competition. But if you want to cut this time down even further, working with experts or agencies can dramatically cut down the time it takes for you to break through, but those come at a high price tag. So an alternative approach that I strongly strongly recommend is using tools to make your life easier and make it so much simpler to remain consistent for a long period of time. And luckily, there are so many tools on the market built specifically for social media to help you create content, plan content, schedule content, optimize content, and study data and analytics. And using these tools can save you the time that allows you to remain consistent even when things get tough. There are a ton of options out there, but we believe that Flick is the best. So I'm going to show you how it can set your business up for success from the beginning and automate the majority of the things that we've covered so far in this video. But instead of talking about it, I'm just going to show you and it will make a lot more sense. So this is Flick. And Flick is a suite of AI tools specifically built by social media marketers to help people just like you achieve everything that we've talked about in this video in a fraction of the time and with way less effort. So we basically make it as easy as possible to achieve your goals and remain consistent for a long period of time. So we give you tools to schedule content to the platforms you're trying to post on, and we'll even help you create specific content with Iris, our social assistant. And so what makes Iris so different than, say, ChatGPT or other more generic AI tools is that Iris in our content lab is specifically built for social media marketing. We outlined all the things that matter based on years of experience, outlined all the pain points, and then built tools to make all of those as easy and pain-free as possible. So as you can see right here, this is a content calendar, where you can schedule content. But what makes this way more than just a content scheduler is Iris. So within Iris, you can plan content, you can outline your strategy, and we'll even help you find viral trends. But for this video, I'll show you my strategy. So within here, you can come in and set this up to make most of your content happen for you and still make it incredibly specific to you. A recurring theme throughout this video is that most AI-driven tools or AI-created content looks, sounds, and feels the same. That won't be the case with Iris because you customize everything that you get back, completely specific to who you are, who you're trying to reach, and what your goals are through content. All the things we've covered in this video. So if you get started with this, you can set up your Iris in a matter of a few minutes, set up Iris for you. So all you gotta do is complete your brand hub setup. And so within this information, you provide the name of your business, the service that you have, the business profile, a short business bio, who you're trying to reach, and your target audience. And you can sort all this either from an Instagram account or a website if you don't have an IG account, or you can add it in all manually. So I'm cool with all this. Within the brand voice section, you can completely customize how you want your brands to sound whenever you're creating content. This could be in your caption, this could be the content you're actually creating, all the key things that make you you. So basically, if someone were to do an avatar for you, how would they describe you? How do you talk? What things do you care about? All that good stuff. Having those within here will then dictate what you get back from Iris to make it feel and sound like you every single time so that you don't just blend into all the same generic stuff that everyone else is doing, but you still save the time. So once you're cool with all of this and it makes sense for what you're trying to do, this is all for an inspirational Instagram page that we run, and they source all this information directly from the Instagram account. But if there's anything you don't like or you want to change anything, you can easily come in here and adjust it accordingly. So once you're cool with it, click continue. You can pick content themes. These are generic content pillars or whatever word you want to associate with. They are consistent themes of content that you make content around, specific to your goals and what you're trying to achieve. For this being a motivation page, we got motivational quotes and sayings, hustle culture, success mindset, and no excuse mindset. So that way Iris can take this and constantly give us ideas that are underneath these pillars. And you can even create your own or get different suggestions if you didn't like one of these. So let's say I don't want no excuse mindset. I can click delete content theme. I could come in here and add athlete motivation, or I could create my own if I wanted to as well, but I'll go with athlete motivation. And then I'll click continue. And then for key events, you can turn on seasonal holidays. So then Iris will give you custom content suggestions specific to the holidays that you care about, as well as awareness days, public holidays, and you can even add key events. So let's say you're in a niche community where, say, you have things that you celebrate within your local town. You can add in a key event so you get specific ideas for that as well. And the last piece that makes this huge for businesses is the ability to add context about your products and services. So you can come into here, and as we've talked about before, where you have the strategy of trying to sell things, coming up with good content to sell something can be difficult. We try to make that as easy as possible. So if you come in here and provide information, you can even import a page. If you have an online store, you can just put that in here and then we'll pull the information, or you can type it in manually. And so then once you do that, Iris then has this information to then give you promotional post ideas around specific things that you're selling. So it's not the same generic BS. It's not, oh, we sell cookies. It's not, we sell cakes. It's, we sell this cake and this is why you want it. That's why this stuff can really be impactful while still saving you a bunch of time. So you go in here, add in all the key products that you have. You can change this at any given time, and then you can go finish and create my strategy. So once Iris has all this information, it then breaks it down to a complete strategy. So all the things that we talked about, We want to automate that for you as much as possible. So think back to your SMART goals. You can basically set them all right within here. So you can see your posting frequency. It's gonna be 4 times per week. It could be 2 times per week, whatever it is makes sense for you. I'll stick with 4 times per week. And then here you can break down your content aims based on your goals. So let's say I want informational posts to be 30%, business posts 50, promotional posts 20%. And I definitely recommend promotional being your smallest bucket of content, just because you do have to understand you're competing with other entertainment. And so you have to be conscious of that and really focus on building the relationship and mentioning, hey, we do sell stuff, but making that a priority, but not the focus. And you can also dictate what kind of content you're posting. So is it graphics, images, and videos? You can even adjust the kind of content within that. So is it a single image? Is it a carousel? Is it a single page carousel? All of these things that you have to think about manually, we put it into a system so you can have it all right here. And then Iris will do the bulk of the job in giving you these ideas that you can either generate media with using Iris, or a tool like Canva, or go make your own images, videos, whatever, when it makes sense. And you can even break down the content buckets or themes that you're using and how often they're being used. So let's say I want success mindset to be the primary focus. We can make that bigger and it will adjust these other things accordingly. And I'm cool with that. We'll click Save Changes. And so now it's updated my strategy. So Iris now has all of this context that covers the key principles that go into success on social. And so all the future content that Iris creates for us will be centered around executing this specific strategy. So it completely removes the thinking of having to execute your strategy and helps you set SMART goals in a fraction of the time that you can actually just see and implement. So that's an outline of our strategy. It's all saved right here. And there's even post templates right here too. So you can go in and create your own templates that Iris will then use for future pieces of content. And you can also look at the informational templates that are here, the business templates that by default Iris created for you, but you can come up with your own completely. You can also adjust how often it's being used. So whenever we make an informational post, there's a 10% chance it's going to be one of these things, and it rotates based on what we're trying to achieve and the specific numbers that we put in there. So this is completely customizable. You can really make this you. And once you've done this once in the beginning, you're set up on that foundation of success like we talked about earlier, where all this can just be put to work and you can just focus on getting content out there to achieve the goals of increasing awareness, building community, and driving sales and people to your store. If you want to try out Iris, our viral content finder, and our scheduling tool and everything else for free, you can do so using the link down below. But the main lesson here is just to use tools to make staying consistent as easy as possible, even if it's not Flick. We feel like we built the best tool, but if you don't agree with that, go use other alternatives. I care more about you getting the results that you want. If you build a system where it's super easy for you to remain consistent, you're going to get the result that you want. So you'd be silly not to leverage tools of some kind and make this as simple as possible. And we built everything within Flick, understanding the pain points and what drives results, and try to make that as simple as possible. But you can do most of this manually if you want. That's why I didn't mention this until the very end, is to show you how much work it would be doing it manually versus with a tool like Flick. And there's other tools out there if you want to do your own research, but if you want to try out Flick for free, you can do so using the link down below. But believe it or not, this is actually a shorter version of a longer video that I have coming out. It's a far more comprehensive guide. I know this video is pretty long, but that one's going to be 4 to 5 times as long because I'm going to go really in depth. It's going to be a complete course on exactly how I would work with a business to get growing on social media. So if you want to see that, make sure you click subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified when it comes out. And if you're brand new to Instagram, we made this video specifically for you, explaining how you can quickly get your account off the ground and get moving in the right direction. So if you take the lessons that you learned from this video and watch this and then apply everything, you will get growing so much faster than your competition. So go ahead and click this. I will see you over there, and I can't wait to see your business on Instagram. Peace.